Okay, so today we're going to talk about surprise medical bills. Yes, it can happen to you. And even though my mother's dead 2 years, she's still getting medical bills. And the doctors know she's dead. And I'm not paying them. So fuck them. Okay, so here's my story of today. I was sleeping and I was so rootedly, no, is there such a word? You know what I mean. I was rudely awakened by a text from a dentist that I saw only once in my life in what was it? It was in April of 2021. Yes, April of 2021. And before the dentist even touched my mouth, I said, if this is not going to be covered under my insurance plan, I do not want you to proceed with anything. And she said, no worries, your insurance is going to pay for this, and I will not charge you 1 penny if the insurance doesn't cover. Okay, so I get a text today. And this is why you need to actually keep every single piece of paper from every single doctor that you've ever been to, including your pets and veterinarians and stuff like that. And keep it because 2 years later, they can come and they can say, hey, you owe me some money. So I get this text saying, you owe so-and-so doctor $1,500 for an x-ray and a comprehensive mouth exam. And I said, what? And so I texted back and said, go fuck yourself. And yeah, that wasn't very nice of me. And then I kept texting and saying, what kind of piece of shit office manager do you have that figures this out 2 years later? And I went on and on and on in a tirade, and I'm not proud of myself because sometimes when I wake up, I'm very cranky. And so I called them. And I ended up making them cry. I didn't mean to make anybody cry, but I was so angry I started cursing and screaming and saying, go fuck yourself, I'm not paying you 1 penny. And they said, no, you have to pay. And I said, but my insurance covered it. And she said, well, we contacted the insurance company, and on that same day, we put a claim in for your services. I said, what? A lady sticking her fat fucking hands in my mouth for 5 seconds and taking pictures of my teeth? And she said, yes. And she said, please don't say it in those terms. And I said, no, go fuck yourself. No, seriously. I said, fuck you. That's the truth. A fucking lady with a fat hand stuck her nasty ass gloved hand in my mouth for like maybe 3 seconds and took a picture of my mouth. And why am I being charged? And they said, well, your insurance never paid us. And I said, oh, really now? But why are you contacting me 2 years later with that? So with that, she hung up on me. She said I was disrespectful and I wasn't very professional. Well, I told her I'm not professional. I'm not a professional. So why should I have to talk professionally? Well, she hung up on me. And so I called the insurance company, and this is a one-party state, thank God, meaning only one person has to consent to a recording. And I called the insurance company telling them the claims, the dates of the service and what they were, and did this dentist ever get paid? And by the way, the dentist on the phone, the dentist's office, told me that they resubmitted a claim in July, sent the claim again and never got paid. It turns out, wait till you hear what happens. Okay, watch this.
Huh? I'm listening.
Okay, I said to her, when did you call up the insurance to put the claims through? She said on the same day of service. We didn't hear from them, and we resubmitted and spoke with them back in July of 2021. They never got paid, they said.
Yes, they did. I'm looking at it. The amount was a check, and it cleared back on May 26th of 2021. If they have questions, they can reach out to the hotline number, but they did.
Did you hear that, guys? These motherfuckers actually received a payment for the two things, okay, and were paid. The check, yes, you heard the lady. The check cleared on May the 26th of 2011. And they actually cashed the fucking check. And the insurance paid for it. Now, they put another claim in a few months later for the same procedure. It got denied. And so that's why probably the office manager is calling me, telling me I owe them money because they put a duplicate claim in. Now, I asked this lady like 6 million times over and over, are you sure they were paid? And she repeated it multiple times. And so what I did was I took a snippet of what I just showed you and texted it to the dentist. And I said, I owe you shit. And I called them up and I said, did you get the recording that you were paid? Here's a phone number that the lady at the insurance company gave me to give to you to call to find out information about the check that you received and cashed. And so what does this mean, boys and girls? Basically, a doctor can see you. Insurance can pay for your, treatment. And then years later, they can come back and say, whoa, we never received payment. And they can sort of like lie. Basically, they wanted to get paid twice for the same thing. And I didn't mean to make anybody cry today, but pretty much when I'm angry and I'm pissed off, I make people cry, and I'm not proud of it. And I did call back and I apologized for my behavior, which they said was very unprofessional. And I did. I apologized to each and every one in the office personally. And I did, because I felt bad because my daughter was listening and said I was going to go to hell for the way I treat people. And I don't mean to get so angry and use expletives, but this is absolute fucking bullshit. Can you imagine this shit? So yeah, they will actually rebill you for shit 2 years later to try to get money out of you and chisel. And they even told me, here's a link to click on and pay for the $1,500 you owe us. For 5 minutes of hand play, some gloved bitch sticks her hands in my mouth for 5 minutes and takes a snapshot of my rotting, decaying teeth, and then tells me 2 years later I owe him money. Well, fuck you. And here's another funny thing. My husband came in the house not knowing what happened, walked in the door and said, I got a text today from a dentist saying that I owe them money. And I texted them back and told them I've never ever seen this dentist in my whole entire life, nor ever walked into the door. And you got the wrong guy. And he told me they gave a link for him to click on and to pay some bill. And it had even nothing to do with me. And so this same dental office, I guess today they're sending out loads of texts to unsuspecting assholes and thinking that they're just going to click on a link and pay for services that were already paid for. So this is what you guys need to do. Most phones, including Apple phones and Androids, no longer have the capability to record calls anymore, because I guess so many people were suing because they didn't know they were being recorded. And in certain states, it's a two-party state. And since they don't know what state that you purchased your phone in, they discontinued the app where you can record your calls. Well, here's what you do. You go into Windows if you have a Windows computer. I don't know about a Mac or an Apple, but you type in voice recorder on the bottom, and this will pop up. You need an external mic or microphone attached to it. And then you click this little blue button and you can see how many times I recorded people just to have proof of, that nobody's bullshitting me. Yeah, it goes even back to September, and I save everything because there's no way in hell I'm going to let anybody fuck me over. And so I almost got fucked over. And she told me she was sending me to collections, and it was going to go against my credit report. I did tell her to go fuck herself about that also. And so this is why you need to dot your I's, cross all your T's, keep every single paperwork, because you don't know if 3 years down the line, 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, a doctor that you once went to, that your insurance paid the claims, will come back and tell you owe them money. Now, thank God that insurance company told me all the information. I called back the dentist's office, and I gave them the phone number to speak to that rep and to find out more information about the check that they received and that they cashed. What fucking nerve? Tell me that's not fucking nerve that they expected me to pay a bill that was already paid for. All right, that's it. Tirade over, rant over, but always record. Remember, recording people will save your ass. Now, if they take me to court, I have proof that this lady said like 6 times over. By the way, I kept asking her, you can see 8 minutes long. I kept saying, can you please tell me, was this paid? So you're saying that these claims were paid? And she kept saying, I told you 5 times. The lady, by the way, was very fucking nasty. And she said, I told you 5 times that they already paid and cashed the check, were paid and cashed the check. And she got annoyed, but I just wanted to have this on recording. Thanks for watching. Don't get fucked over. Record people.